Hello dears. In today's session also we are going to discuss about some topics in elimination reactions. I'll be dealing with thermal elimination reactions which include Cope elimination and Chugave elimination, and then Hofmann elimination, and the last one is Evans-Eby mechanism for elimination reactions. So let's see all these topics one by one. Let's start with the thermal elimination reactions. As the name indicates, they proceed by simple heating. There is no other resistance like the solvent or the presence of a base, etc. is not required. Okay, we are just heating the molecule and the elimination takes place. And here the speciality of this one is that two vicinal substituents on an alkane framework leave simultaneously. Okay, two vicinal substituents. Vicinal substituents means substituents on adjacent carbon atoms. Okay, substituents on adjacent carbon atoms, they leave simultaneously. Okay, the mechanism will be like this. They leave simultaneously, which means at a time, via a cyclic transition state. It's another point, via a cyclic transition state to form an alkene. In another one to be noted is that it's a syn elimination. Okay, you will be familiar with syn and anti additions. Like that, there are syn elimination and anti elimination also. In the case of anti-elimination, we have seen in this one, elimination E2 mechanism and all, that one hydrogen and Br, for example. This is the example of anti-elimination because the substituents getting eliminated are on the opposite side or on the opposite phases. Okay, but in the case of syn elimination, both the substituents to be eliminated will be on the, suppose the substituents are X and Y, they will be eliminated from the same phase or same side. That's called a syn elimination. So here the points to be noted are, it's a syn elimination and the reaction proceeds via a cyclic transition state, and the two vicinal substituents, they are getting eliminated simultaneously. Okay, so let's see the mechanism. The most important example which comes under thermal eliminations is that of Cope elimination. Here, an amine oxide is heated to give an alkene and a dialkyl hydroxylamine. So this is a tertiary amine, R3N is a tertiary amine, and you are oxidizing this tertiary amine using hydrogen peroxide to give the corresponding oxide. So the structure will be R3N coordinate bond O, or we can say that this is R3N plus and O minus. Okay, and the mechanism, it proceeds through a cyclic transition state. Okay, the mechanism proceeds through a cyclic transition state. In that mechanism, you can clearly understand how the reaction proceeds, and you can see the transition state in this slide and the product also. The points to be noted are, the Cope elimination is a cis elimination. Of course, all thermal eliminations are cis eliminations, most of them, and it requires a very lower temperature of 80 to 160 degrees Celsius when compared to other pyrolysis methods. The cracking of this ester pyrolysis actually takes 400 to 500 degrees Celsius to take place. When compared to all those thermal other elimination reactions, these undergo the reaction at very low temperatures. And the essential condition is that one of the alkyl groups, in the case of a tertiary amine, there are three alkyl groups. At least one of the alkyl groups should have at least a beta hydrogen to proceed with the mechanism. And it's a very good, what is the importance of this Cope elimination is that it's a general reaction useful in determining the structure of an unknown tertiary amine. We are employing Hofmann elimination, a slightly modified one, that is Hofmann exhaustive methylation, for the same purpose, to find out the structure of unknown tertiary amines. So this is also a very good tool to analyze the structures of unknown tertiary amines, and also for preparing certain alkanes. The alkanes which are normally difficult to prepare can be prepared by this Cope elimination method. I have given another example of dimethyl isopropylamine. This is a specific example I have taken. dimethyl isopropylamine, and on oxidation it converts to dimethyl isopropylamine oxide. Okay, it's a tertiary amine in which the substituents are two methyl groups and one isopropyl group. Okay, two methyl groups and one isopropyl group, and on oxidation it converts to its corresponding oxide. And when this oxide is heated, we are getting propene and dimethyl hydroxylamine. This is dimethyl hydroxylamine. Okay, the mechanism is also given. We can see that the mechanism proceeds through a cyclic transition state. First this O minus abstracts one hydrogen, and then here bond breakage takes place to neutralize the positive charge on nitrogen. Okay, this is the mechanism. And the second one, which comes under thermal eliminations, is Chugave elimination. It's a thermal cis elimination of water molecule. Actually, water molecule is eliminated from an alcohol, but not directly, by a xanthate intermediate. So let's see. RCH2CH2OH is an alcohol. Okay, first we are treating this one with potassium hydroxide OH minus to give alkoxide ion RCH2CH2O minus, and here it is treated with carbon disulfide C double bond S to give you the corresponding xanthate RCH2CH2O C double bond S minus, and this somewhere we have taken this potassium, it was potassium hydroxide K plus and OH minus, so here this K plus will stand with it. Okay, and then you can see that this negative charge on this sulfur atom attacks the methyl group of methyl iodide, and Ki is eliminated to give you this product. Okay, so CH3I, okay, to give you the product which is seen in the square brackets. And from here, actual Chugave reaction, Chugave elimination takes place at this stage. It proceeds via cycle transition state, and we are getting the alkene and the corresponding product. Okay, alkene is obtained, and then this product is obtained, that is cleaved. Actually, that is cleaved like this. SH is the bond here, so it will be cleaved like this. Okay, S minus here, S double bond C double bond O is here, and this one S minus, the bond breaks like this. So Me S minus and this H plus combine to give MESH, thiol. It's actually a thiol. MEOH will be calling it as methanol, right? So this is the corresponding thiol. Okay, these are the two examples which come under thermal elimination reactions. And let's move to another topic, that is Hofmann rule. This Hofmann rule states that it is just the opposite of Zaitsev rule. In the case of Zaitsev rule, we have seen that the elimination takes place from neutral substrates like alkyl halides, alcohols, etc. And we are getting the more stable, more substituted alkene as the major product. Okay, Zaitsev rule. എന്താണ് പറഞ്ഞത്? Zaitsev rule, elimination from neutral substrate. Okay, elimination from neutral substrate results in more substituted alkene as the major product. But here Hofmann rule states that in the case of elimination from charged products, charged substrate, Hofmann rule states that in the case of elimination from charged substrates, least substituted alkene is the major product. Least substituted alkene. And the reason behind that is that the base selects the proton, the beta hydrogen, the beta proton, which is less sterically hindered. Okay. In the next slide, I have explained with examples. So let's check the mechanism of Hofmann elimination. Okay, Hofmann elimination. I have taken a quaternary ammonium hydroxide. Quaternary ammonium hydroxide will be like R4N plus and OH minus. Okay, quaternary ammonium ion Hofmann elimination takes place for the substrate quaternary ammonium ion. Okay, it could be a quaternary ammonium hydroxide or quaternary ammonium halide, etc. Okay, here in the quaternary ammonium ion I have taken, there are 4 substituents which are 2 methyl groups, 1 ethyl group and 1 propyl group. So there are 2 beta positions also, alpha, beta, alpha, beta. So when base approaches, the base abstract the proton from the least sterically hindered beta carbon. Okay, here the ethyl group is there and propyl group is there, and in the case of propyl group there is a steric hindrance of 1 methyl group. Okay, but here in the case of ethyl group only hydrogens are present, so that is a less sterically hindered site. So this base, this OH minus, abstract proton from the ethyl fragment, okay, ethyl group, and to give ethylene as the major product. Okay, this is Hofmann elimination reaction or Hofmann rule. And the last topic of today's discussion is even CB mechanism. Okay, regarding the mechanisms of elimination reactions, we have seen what is an even mechanism and we have seen an E2 mechanism. Okay, this is different. This is E1, elimination unimolecular conjugate base. The expansion is elimination unimolecular. E stands for elimination, 1 stands for unimolecular, and CB stands for conjugate base. Okay, so like E2 mechanism, here this is actually a combination of both. Okay, so let's see what is it. It's simple. What it says is that in the case of, okay, let me explain first what happens when in our earlier discussions we have seen that in the case of even mechanism it proceeds via a two-step mechanism and it has a carbocation intermediate, right? In the case of E2 mechanism it was a single step mechanism. Okay, here in this even CB mechanism this one also proceeds via 2 steps. Okay, it's a 2-step mechanism. Okay, we have taken a simplest example. Actually even CB mechanism is not operating in the case of ethyl bromide, but I have taken this example for simplification. Okay, so see, in the first step what happens is that this ethoxide ion, the base abstracts 1 proton to give a carbanion intermediate. The base abstracts 1 hydrogen to give a carbanion intermediate. And in step 2, you can see that this carbanion intermediate, from this carbanion intermediate, the Br is eliminated to give the product, alkene. And this is the slow step and therefore this is the rate determining step. Okay, you can see that the rate determining step involves only the concentration of the carbanion. This carbanion is the conjugate base of the substrate. Okay, substrate and hydrogen മാറ്റി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു H+ മാറ്റി ഏതൊരു substrate ആണെങ്കിലും ഒരു H+ മാറ്റി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ബാക്കിയുള്ളതാണ് അതിന്റെ conjugate base എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So the rate depends upon the carbanion, which is the conjugate base of the substrate. That's why we have named it as even CB mechanism. കുറച്ചും കൂടി ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് നോക്കിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നതാണ് ഇത് ജസ്റ്റ് E2 മെക്കാനിസത്തിനെ നമ്മൾ കട്ട് ചെയ്തതാണ്. നോക്കിയാട്ടെ, E2 മെക്കാനിസം എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ പറയാ, സെയിം സൈമിൾട്ടേനിയസ്ലി എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു, ഹൈഡ്രജൻ CH3Br അല്ലേ. അപ്പോൾ OH minus abstract this hydrogen and this hydrogen shifts to this carbon-carbon single bond and then Br is eliminated. This is actually the mechanism of E2 mechanism, the mechanism of E2. And ആ ഒരു സെയിം മെക്കാനിസത്തിന്റെ 2 സ്റ്റെപ്പായിട്ട് മാറ്റുമ്പോഴാണ് നമുക്ക് എന്ത് കിട്ടുന്നത്, ഈവൻ CB മെക്കാനിസം കിട്ടുന്നത്. മനസ്സിലായല്ലോ. ആൻഡ് ഹിയർ the carbanion formation first step il nadannu and only in the second step the carbanion is converted to the alkene. And here E2 ennu parayunnathu endendennu parnu, in the case in the transition state we can understand that there is in the transition state there is a presence of both the base and the substrate. Alle substrate um base um endund transition state nathunde in the case of E2. OH ആണ് നമ്മുടെ base എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, ബാക്കിയുള്ളതാണ് നമ്മുടെ substrate. Ethyl halide ആണ് substrate. അപ്പോൾ in the case of E2 mechanism എന്തുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ട്രാൻസിഷൻ സ്റ്റേറ്റിനകത്ത് രണ്ട് പേരുടെ പ്രസൻസ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് സെക്കൻഡ് ഓർഡർ ആയിട്ട് പോയത്, സെക്കൻഡ് ഓർഡർ ആയത്. ഇവിടെ ആരില്ല, ബേസിന്റെ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ, ബേസ് വന്നിട്ട് ആദ്യത്തെ സ്റ്റെപ്പിൽ തന്നെ ബേസിന്റെ ഫംഗ്ഷൻ ചെയ്തു പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞു. ആൻഡ് ഓൺലി ദ കാർബാനിയോൺ ഇസ് ലെഫ്റ്റ് ഔട്ട് ഇൻ ദ റേറ്റ് ഡിറ്റർമിനിങ് സ്റ്റെപ്പ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇത് എന്താവുന്നത്, യൂണിമോളിക്കുലർ ആവുന്നത്. Hope it is clear for you. So it's actually a combination of both E1 and E2 നമുക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയാം. Okay, E1 in the sense എന്താണ്, it takes place in two steps. Okay, in the case of E1 you should remember that the intermediate is a carbocation, but in the case of E1 CB mechanism the intermediate is a carbanion. And here the points to be noted are the rate that I have already explained. The rate depends only on the constellation of the carbanion, which is the conjugate base of the substrate, and this mechanism occurs only if the carbanion is highly stabilized. Okay, this mechanism occurs only if the carbanion is highly stabilized and only in the presence of a very poor leaving group. As I have told you already that this mechanism is not getting operated in ethyl bromide. Okay, ethyl bromide എന്താണ് ചെയ്യുക, E2 mechanism തന്നെയാണ് തരാം. It will not give either E1 or even CB. For the sake of simplicity ആണ് എന്തെടുത്തത്, ആ എക്സാമ്പിൾ എടുത്തിട്ട് E1 CB മെക്കാനിസം കാണിച്ചു തന്നത്. ഇവിടെ ആക്ച്വലി E1 CB മെക്കാനിസം നടക്കുന്ന ഒരു റിയാക്ഷൻ ഇവിടെ താഴെ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. വാട്ട് ഇസ് ഇറ്റ്? പ്ലീസ് ചെക്ക് ദാറ്റ് the substrate is dichloro trifluoro ethane. Alle dichloro trifluoro ethane ആണ് substrate, and you are treating this with a strong base to give dichloro difluoro ethane is the product. Okay, ഈ ഒരു റിയാക്ഷനിൽ എന്ത് നടക്കും, the mechanism proceeds via actual E1 CB mechanism. എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഇതിൽ പറയുന്ന രണ്ട് കേസസും ഇവിടെ സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈഡ് ആണ്. ഫസ്റ്റ് കേസ് എന്താണ്, carbanion is highly stabilized. നമുക്കറിയാം carbanion is always stabilized by minus I groups. അല്ലെ, carbocation stabilized ആവുന്നത് പ്ലസ് I effectual groups ആണെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ നേരെ ഓപ്പോസിറ്റ് ആണ്, carbanion is highly stabilized by minus I groups. So this is a highly stabilized carbanion. This is a highly stabilized carbanion, right? And then the fluorine, the leaving group is fluorine. We know that that's a very poor leaving group. Okay, halogens in the case le നോക്കി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഏറ്റവും ലീവ് ചെയ്യാൻ മടി കാണിക്കുന്ന ഏറ്റവും പൂർ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ലീവിംഗ് ഗ്രൂപ്പ് ആണ് ആര്, ഫ്ലൂറിൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ ബോത്ത് ദ കണ്ടീഷൻസ് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈ ഇൻ ദിസ് പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ, ആൻഡ് therefore we can say that even CB mechanism, this elimination reaction proceeds via even CB mechanism. Okay, so this is all about the discussions about the three topics. Hope it is clear for all of you. Study well, and thanks for watching.